Hello again, and welcome to part number 2 of the 1911 assembly slash disassembly video. We left off, we took the top end off, we gutted the top end in the first video, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to fully disassemble the lower of this particular pistol here. I'm not probably going to go so far as to remove the ejector and pull the plunger tube off, but I'm going to give you some insight into like a full service disassemble. Most people don't do a full disassemble and clean on their pistol because they're fearful of getting all the little pieces back where they go. So we're going to cover that in the reassembly video, and that'll probably be part 3, and then we're going to go to a fourth where we pretty much made everything together and go from there. So couple pieces you're going to need. One of these is pretty handy. This is 10-8 armorer's tool for the 1911. I call it a 10-8 widget because Packmeyer invented the widget many years back. Here's an original Packmeyer widget. So it's going to be used for the same thing in this purpose in this video. But the 10-8 performance gives you a little kind of a screwdriver tip that you can use to get behind thumb safeties and pry them out should you need to do any of that. So that's the first tool. Second tool you're going to need is if you order a new Shawlin Performance pistol, you're going to get this combination screwdriver set, which is going to give you a screwdriver for the grip screws, and when you flip it around, it's going to give you a screwdriver for your mag catch lock. So this side is going to come equipped with a 3/16 screwdriver bit, and also if you happen to have some guns around that have a little wider slot on the grip screws, you're going to get a 1/4 inch, which the 1/4 inch is just about the perfect size for grip screws, but since I buy specific grip screws, they have a narrower slot in them. I buy grip screws that are not made with lead in them, only because they niter blue a lot better when there's no lead in those screws. So, and that's a big deal to me. I've tried to niter blue some of the ones that are 4140L, which makes them easier and more efficient to turn and easier on cutting tools because lead is lubrication in the alloy. So I try to get screws that don't have any lead in them so that I don't run into any troubles with niter bluing. So I'm going to use the smaller bit. We're going to go ahead and remove these grip screws. Take these grips off. This particular gun has a Chen Gen 2 magwell on it, so it's going to be slightly problematic to get that out, I'll say. Certain guns you won't struggle with, the parts will just come out. But I like to leave the housing itself very tight within the frame if I can, so that there's no jiggling or movement as you're shooting the guns. If you have a loose housing in your gun, sometimes you can feel it moving under recoil. It's a little distracting. So I like to try to keep everything as tight as possible. And that's just kind of part of what you get when you pay for a hand fit product. You know, the person can take the time to make sure that the fit is tight on all the components. Okay, so now that we have the grips off, we've got the O-rings pushed aside there. Now we're left bare. There's a couple different ways to do this particular part of it. You know, when I do this kind of stuff, people will argue with me that it's a waste of time to take the top end off the way I take it off, etc. But I guarantee you, if we start a stopwatch, I get the slide stop out and the slide off before you can even pick your bushing wrench up off the bench. So just keep in mind that I do this due to efficiency and also habit from doing this every day. So My way of doing this might be slightly different. There's a couple different ways you can go about this. Like there's certain people that may, and I may do it this way here. Let's just say we're going to remove the thumb safety first. So there's an area defined on your thumb safety that's about 3/4 of the way up where you'll feel, I always put my finger around the back here and push on that thumb safety with my finger on the back. Now this is applying to a single side safety. So ambies are going to be slightly different. You're going to want to take the weak side off first on most designs. On older designs, you're going to want to take the strong side off. So it just really depends on what you have. So I've pushed it out just a little bit, and this is, you know, approximately the position that you'll be in when you go to remove it. You know, you're just on the cusp of reaching this little cam surface on your thumb safety there. And you can continue to pull it with your finger, or you can get your armorer's tool, get that little screwdriver back there if you want, and just pop it out. And this helps keep the spring and the plunger from shooting out. A lot of times I'll pull the thumb safety with the gun facing down on the bench like this, just in case they're going to shoot out. This one wasn't going to go far because I put a little kink in the center of them to keep them from flying out. But I'll pull that out, and I'll pull the thumb safety out. Now, I'm going to let the hammer forward carefully. Let's just take it to half cock, and then we're just going to pull the grip safety out. These grip safeties, all the grip safeties I use, whether you get a Stan Chen grip safety or this particular one is an EGW grip safety. It's cut here for you to be able to pull it out without dropping the mainspring housing. It's kind of convenient and helps you out on certain maintenance things. Like if you want to put more tension on this spring here, you can. If you want to reduce tension on your left side of your sear spring where it engages the sear, if you want to lighten up your trigger just a little bit, you can grab it with a little hook and kind of pull back on it and make some adjustments while everything's in there. Next thing you're going to want to do is grab a 5/16 punch. Now I have this specific old proto punch. I have a tool that someone made me for punching these pins out that has the little slot in it. Brownell sells a tool for pushing this pin out as well. It has a black handle on it. It's, you know, their typical Brownell's tools. A lot of times you can just push on this pin with this punch and it'll just start coming right out. And you can just push it right out, and you can leave this punch in there so that it keeps everything trapped. But when you're ready, you can pull it out. Now, like I said, this housing is just a little bit on the tight side, so it's not going anywhere right now. And this is a prototype gun, and it's probably one that I'm gonna actually keep for myself. Don't tell anybody. But I'm gonna start tapping this just because this is a special situation. Usually your housing will just come right out. And then I'm gonna pull it out, set it aside. So at this point, you've got everything kind of arrested in here. Pull your sear spring out, set it aside. And then I'll come up with my left index finger and I'll push the hammer pin out. And grab that, pull the hammer out and the strut all in one unit, of course. Hopefully that pin stays put. And then the sear pins, they're a little bit more tricky, but a lot of times you can kind of sneak in here and grab it with your fingernail right there like that. Pull that out, then you just go like this. Your sear and your disconnector will fall out on the bench. So now you're at a point where, okay, I need to get the mag catch out. Now, a lot of people think that the mag catch lock is a screw and they're gonna unscrew this. But actually, it's not that at all. It's just a little cam system in there. So you push your mag catch, depress it slightly, and just keep a little pressure on that screw and you'll feel when it starts to turn. You just turn it all the way, pull that right out, set it there. Helps keep it all trapped in there. Kind of an ingenious little system. And you just pop your trigger right out. So there lies your full frame strip. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to pull out the ejector or take the plunger tube off at this point, but we kind of get the idea of everything's out of the frame, and you can actually get inside here and do some cleaning if need be, and clean the individual parts, you know, just right out there in the open. A lot of people have like tanks that they dunk their parts in or whatever. That's perfectly fine, but you know, however you want to go about cleaning this stuff, all this stuff's really clean. This gun's never even been fired, so not even sure if there would be anything in there for us to worry about. But so there's the full disassembly of the lower, and you know, I make it look really simple and easy. I know that, and I'm aware of that. And you know, the best thing you can do for yourself, if you've got an expensive gun and you're scared you're gonna mar up the finish, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that with it, there's so many inexpensive 1911s you can buy for yourself out there these days. I mean, if you've spent $3,000-$4,000 on a semi-custom pistol, why not go out there and buy yourself a $400 T-Sosh and just cut your teeth on just taking that thing apart and putting it back together over and over repetitively, and just get really, really adept at doing that. That'll prevent you from idiot scratching your frame. It'll prevent a lot of things, and it'll also teach you how these parts go right back in. And the reassembly process is nearly the very reverse of what we just did to disassemble it. But I will say, it's much easier to disassemble than it is to reassemble. Okay, so next time, hopefully in a week, we'll have the new other video posted where we put the top end back together and we check some things out. We check some extractor tension, and we'll talk about that just a little bit. And until then, we'll see you next time. Keep them in the 10 ring, as they say. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.